Hey everyone, Kryptonix here, and today I just kind of want to talk about a game that has been on my mind for the past few weeks, maybe even the past month, which is Final Fantasy 15. Specifically, I wanted to talk about its current graphical quality and what that means for console gamers and what that could even potentially mean for PC gamers. So, Final Fantasy Versus 13, as the title was originally announced as, has been a game in development for fucking forever. The game was originally announced back in E3 2006, alongside the original Final Fantasy 13, as a sort of counter-story. Since its announcement, there was just not a whole lot of development going into the project. We rarely got any information about it at all, and most of what we saw were just cinematic trailers and such. It definitely seemed like it was at the bottom of Square's priority list. However, all of that kind of changed when Square re-announced the title at E3 2013 as Final Fantasy 15. Also, it was originally going to be a PlayStation 3 exclusive, but it was moved to both PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Now here's where you could really see development picking up for the game. The graphical quality took a huge leap, and it looked absolutely phenomenal. The amount of detail put into the character models and such was incredible. Actually, since then, the graphics have only been getting better, and since the release of the Final Fantasy 15 episode Duscae, alongside Final Fantasy Type 0, we've seen the game in action, and the game looks really, really good, and it almost surprises me that the current generation of consoles can even handle how graphically demanding the game is. Well, the sad reality is that both consoles are actually struggling to play the game at a consistent 30 FPS. Digital Foundry actually released a video comparing the frame rates of the demo on both consoles, and while the PS4 is clearly doing better in terms of frame rates, it's basically only about a 4 FPS difference all around anyways. I don't know, it's just pretty sad to see both of the current gen consoles struggling to keep this game playable. And what's even worse is that the game isn't even running at native 1080p, it's actually 900p upscaled, which is really bad. Square Enix is actually planning to release the full game at 1080p 30 FPS, and to be honest, unless the game sees a greater downgrade in graphical quality, it's just not going to happen. There's only so much you can get out of a $400 to $500 piece of machinery. And don't get me wrong, the game still looks great in the demo, and it's playable, but it's not the smoothest of gaming experiences, and I really think that Square is biting off way more than they can chew with this game running on consoles in the way that they want. Now, Square Enix Japan has been showing off the progress of their Luminos Studio, which is the engine the game is running on. The engine is really incredible with what it can do and how versatile they've claimed it is. I would even compare it to the Unreal Engine 4, it's that awesome. But the weird thing is about the whole development of the game is that it's actually being originally developed at a much higher graphical quality. The game is originally running on a high-spec PC, and consoles see a significantly downgraded version of that. The original version of the game is rocking 4K textures compared to the console's 2K textures, and it has anti-aliasing, it has a better render distance, and it's running at a much better, stable frame rate. I presume that this original version is really only there so they can show off gameplay and such at its best in order to keep people hyped about how great it looks. But really, you're not getting the full potential of the game, nor the Luminos engine with its release on PS4 and Xbox One, and it's kind of sad to hear wasted potential. But that begs the question, will this game see a release on PC? If it was on PC, people with higher end gaming rigs could run the game at its fullest potential with all them textures, and at 60 FPS, at 4K resolution, all that good stuff. Of course, lower end PCs wouldn't get that, but then again, if a $400 console can run it, a $400 PC could run it better. So they would just have to turn down the graphical settings and still be able to enjoy the game. It would definitely be an advantage for Square to broaden their audience beyond consoles, but then again, Square already has a history of releasing Final Fantasy games for PC anyways. They released a lot of the older Final Fantasy games, they released Final Fantasy 13 for PC, Final Fantasy 14 is on PC, and they even recently announced Type 0 for PC, which coincidentally enough was the game the Final Fantasy 15 demo came with on consoles. And to be quite honest, the only way I'm even going to buy Final Fantasy 15 is if it comes out on PC, because I'm not going to buy a PS4 or an Xbox One for one single game, especially with how much I dislike how console developers have been treating the gaming industry lately. Square has officially stated that Final Fantasy 15 on PC has been discussed, but they haven't drawn a conclusion yet. They also mentioned that if it were to be on PC, it would require one with high specs. That begs the question though, why would it require a high-end PC? I mean, like I said, you should just be able to turn down the graphics settings like always, right? See, my fear is that when the game releases for PC, it will be locked at max settings, making it next to impossible for lower-end PCs to even play it. Now, some people would argue that the game would still be at its highest quality, but to be honest, a PC game is still a bad release if it discludes the vast majority of what PC players can handle. I don't know, perhaps the Luminos engine isn't optimized for graphical customization, which would really suck and would also be really dumb. But that's just kind of my fear about the whole thing. Maybe what they said about it is just Square Enix being dumb and not understanding how PCs really are these days, which honestly wouldn't surprise me at all. Because, you know, PC gaming really doesn't have a following in Japan, and they don't have a history of releasing games at the same time as consoles. But all of this is way too early to tell. The Luminos Studio does support Windows, and we've even seen a Windows tab show up in one of their demos, so that's pretty cool. Anyways, that was just some of the things I've been pondering about. I really want this game to come out on PC, so I can play it, and when it does, I want it to be accessible for all PC players, and not just those with decked out gaming rigs. I don't want to have a game only playable with an R9 290X and up or something, because that's just dumb. Let me know what you guys think about Final Fantasy 15 being on PC, and let me know what you think about how it's been performing on consoles. And on that note, I will see you guys later.